Okay guys, hello, this is Uncle Higgy's Nutrition Corner, right? So I'm going to start to introduce you into diets and food and understanding a lot about nutrition, and once you understand that, then we can start to talk about hormones and how they affect you and how they're stimulated, all that sort of thing, because it's important. It's very, very important, because what hormones you have running around your head will actually influence the way you think, believe it or not. You only need to just take, for example, when you're put in a threatening situation, or what you perceive as a threatening situation, your brain starts to think a different way. It's literally because the chemicals change in your brain, yeah? But some people, they have diets which will change the way they think. Yes, they do, and that's all hormonal, yeah? Hormones is not just about premenopausal women, or women that are going through their estrus or menstrual cycle. Men are affected by it as well, so it's very important to understand. But we will get onto that later, because it's we have to look at diets first of all, and this is quite an extensive subject, so I'm not saying you need to do this, you need to do that. All I'm going to do is give you some considerations about what possibly you could do. Now, if you're a prepper or you're into survival, then you are going to have to understand a lot more about nutrition than the average person, okay? Most people just want to lose weight and get fit. That is it, okay? So they will look at the experts and tell them what they need to do, and they'll be on a quite high carbohydrate diet for energy, and they'll may lose the weight, yes, and when they stop exercising and they start binging on pizzas and things like that, they start to put the weight back because they don't understand the nutrition that they're putting into the body, okay? So let's talk about energy first, because that's actually probably the best way to start, okay? Now, with your body, you have three different energy sources. You have ATP, yeah, which is your instant flash of energy. Now, if for instance you were in a really flight or fight type of situation, ATP will fire up and it will get you to move as quick as you wouldn't even perceive. You just get a flash of energy, boom, you go. That is an initial spurt of energy, and it doesn't last too long. That's actually made by creatine, which is in meat, but you can also get it as a supplement. Now, bodybuilder guys know this, to take creatine, because it builds their ATP up. And I can't say the chemical constituents of it, but I will say what the name is above here. I'll do it. I'll put it on the screen here. Yeah, important to know, okay, because it is the foundation of what you're eating. You eat food for energy and for maintenance of your body, don't you? Yeah. So you also have a carbohydrate system, which is a glycogenic system, a glycolytic system, okay, which is basically, it's sugars and carbohydrates. And when I'm talking about carbohydrates, I'm talking about rice and pastas and potato, anything starchy, yeah, lentils as well. That's carbohydrates. That gets turned into glucose, which then gets put into your cells in your muscles, and it's there for intense exercising, okay? When I mean intense, I don't mean just a little walk in the park. It's more about running or doing sprinting, yeah, for short periods of time. That's all that is designed for, okay? And then you have another system, which is a fat burning system, yeah, and this is what most people want to access, is the fat burning system. That is actually a slow burn, which technically you should be when you're doing sedentary exercises like sitting down working on the computer, you should be burning fat, yes, or you're doing medium exercise like walking. Now, they will tell you walking will burn fat. It will do if your body can access it to use it as energy. It will do, yeah. Problem is people eat a lot of the wrong things. They eat far too many carbohydrates and far too many sugars, which is a problem in itself because it can cause diabetes and obesity, and they never use that. So what happens is the body will store it, yeah. It's a natural system. Your body will store the carbohydrates and some fats. If you eat fats with carbohydrates, it gets put into your body as triglycerides, yeah, which it can be accessed later, yes. But if you don't eat carbohydrates, it's not a big deal. Now, this is where the ketogenic diet comes into play, because basically what you do with that diet is you drop down your carbohydrates to 50 grams per day, if not a little bit less, like 30 grams a day. So your body is forced to use dietary fats and also body fats as well. Now, it's actually quite a complex diet because there's a few mechanisms in there which your body goes through that changes, and the whole idea about the ketogenic diet is to change the mitochondria, which are actually the energy cells, to be burning fat and running on fat. Okay, that's the difference between converting a car between diesel and petrol, literally. And a lot of people report this when they first go onto ketogenic diet. They lose a lot of fluids because the kidneys are not getting a signal from insulin, because the insulin drops. This is what it's all about, is actually lowering the insulin level. You need it in your body to operate, but it drops it to a level where your kidneys don't get a signal to retain water. So you're actually flushing quite a lot of water out of your body, which means you need to take electrolytes in. I'll get into this a bit later. We need to talk about electrolytes as well. This is all about survival at the end of the day in diets, So you eat fats and you eat vegetables and you have your minerals. What happens is the body gets used to the fat intake. It will want to use that as energy because it can't get the carbohydrates for it, and it will use that instead. That is stimulating fat burning, and then you drop your dietary fat down, so it will then start to access the body fat, and you'll be surprised how much weight is lost really quickly. Don't just drop onto a ketogenic diet, because it's actually it's complex. You need to learn a lot more about it, and I will over time give you the resources that you can do if you want to lose weight. But the benefit here of understanding diets, especially the ketogenic diet, is that you may get a ketogenic flu when your carbohydrates run out in your body. Okay, that's about 72 hours, so the sugars go. Carbohydrates aren't accessible to the body, so you go through a flu-like state, which can last for up to 6 days with some people. Now, my personal experience is I actually went through this without knowing it when I was younger, by lifestyle, and I didn't realise that when I went onto the ketogenic diet, I had a little bit of a flu, and that was it. And I smelt my urine, and I realised at that point, I've smelt this before, I know where this comes from, I've been here before. It's that primitive brain again. It just knows. Smells you never forget, do you? It links to memories, right? So I did that, and that was quite surprising actually. But in general, people go through a ketogenic flu. So if they don't understand it and they start urinating a lot, they then can lose a lot of minerals, and they can actually feel quite lightheaded and not understanding what's going on. So if you understand the ketogenic diet and all you're eating is, for instance, you're going out and catching wild game, or for instance you're only eating things like eggs and meat, okay, if you did that with vegetables and you didn't have any carbohydrates like potatoes, for instance, for about 3 days, you would actually start to go into a ketogenic state, which is okay for the body. It's okay for the body. It produces different chemicals. One of those is beta hydroxybutyrate, which the brain will actually run on. Any glucose that you need, any sugars you need, in your liver will actually be produced by the protein breakdown. Your body will go into neoglucogenesis, which is changing something into glucose to be able to use that, okay? But your body will use the fat for energy, so this is the thing. When you understand what minerals you need and how much fluid you need to put in your body every day, then you're actually onto a winner. Now, for instance, you can't get any meat and all you can get is potatoes and things like that, then you're going to go onto a high carbohydrate diet, okay, which isn't too bad in itself. If you're very inactive, your body will actually store that as fat, which is natural. You find that it's a natural thing before the winter. Humans would fatten up like they do with their animals. They fatten them up before they cull them, don't they? Bears get fat before they go into hibernation because their body will use that fat for energy. Problem is that you will, if you eat the wrong foods, you will also take toxins into that fat, which is stored in your body, and then as your body accesses it, it might actually make you feel ill. So you have to do it the right way. The ketogenic diet you have to do the right way. Paleo diets is actually not being in a ketogenic state, and it's giving yourself something like 100 grams of carbohydrates per day, which is just outside the range of being into ketosis, which of course you've got the carbohydrate energy and you're not taking too much in to actually build the fat up, which is good. But the paleo diet also is about how humans used to live before agriculture, but it's almost impossible to be able to reproduce that diet because there is not the availability of what was about in those times. So it's a bit of a oh, I don't know, a pseudo thing. Yeah. Now veganism, that is a one, because there is not enough nutrition in that diet to sustain somebody for any length of time without supplements. Okay. Now I did mention creatine, this stuff. Now creatine you find in meats. Yeah, your body does produce it, but you need also to intake creatine, which is in the meats. So any fallacy to say that humans can survive without meat is not actually true, because you have B vitamins as well. The B complexes are in meat. Vegans need to take that as a supplement, okay, which of course, if you understand certain supplements, you can actually start to manipulate hormones in your body and certain reactions. Yeah, you can actually reduce the amount of prolactin in your body. So when you've had sex, for instance, it's just a little bit of a tip here, when you've had sex and you've had that after come feeling, which is relaxed, you can actually take B6 and zinc with that, and that will actually reduce the prolactin, so you can go longer. Yeah, you know, it's just a tip. Uncle Higgy told you that, right? Yeah. Vegetarian isn't so bad because or pescatarian, because you're eating fish, so you're getting omega-3s, and you're also getting things like cholesterol. Now cholesterol is very, very important for testosterone production as well. Okay. It's very confusing when you get a lot of information from health experts. You actually do need that cholesterol, but it's the bad cholesterol that can be produced in your body that might not be beneficial to you. But your brain needs cholesterol, your body needs cholesterol, and your hormones need cholesterol as well. And eggs is a very good source of that. It's also a very good source for amino acids as well. That's got the full range of amino acids in there, yeah, which is protein. It's protein. You need the full range of protein to be able to survive. Now again, veganism is not a good way to go, because you're missing out on some very essential nutrients and some of these micronutrients, should I say, in your diet. Yeah, I know that most people don't really condone veganism, but it's something to understand, because once you've studied that and you can see where the weaknesses and the strengths are, then you can adapt your diet to suit you. Or if you're in a situation where you can't get any meat and carbohydrates are low and you're munching on grass, and at least you know you need to go and find B vitamins from somewhere. Yeah, so if you're prepping, you can always have a store of B vitamins in your preps. Yeah, so you can get past those sort of things. That's all I'm saying. Okay. Yeah. Generally people eat the wrong things. They eat the wrong things because you don't need to exercise to lose weight. That's as simple as that. Yes, you can teach your body to use fat as energy to be able to keep the weight off. And of course men, especially men, the fatter you get, the more estrogen is produced in your body. Yeah, because it maintains the fat cells communicate with estrogen. Yeah, knocks out the testosterone, which means the man becomes weaker. So he does literally need to lose weight to be able to up his testosterone. Yeah, which gives him strength and health as well. Yeah. Now within the realm of sports and exercise, carbohydrates you do need for high intensity workouts. Yes, because you can work it where you're eating carbohydrates and then you're burning them off, but while you're burning them off, you're actually building muscle and building your endurance and cardiovascular system. Yeah, which it's not a bad thing. Yeah, but if you're not doing that sort of thing and you want more endurance, fat digestion and fat burning will work better for endurance, where you are going to go out into the field and you're going to go for days and days and days and days. Yeah, literally, if you've got water and you've got a small amount of food and you've got body fat on you, a small amount of body fat on you, your body will use that as energy. It will turn around and say, right, I'll use that fat and burn it. Yeah. So you don't have to really rely on a food source, but you need to understand that it's there and you need to be able to get your body to access it. Yes. So from a prepper point of view, you need to be able to be versatile, to go through all of these different diets and be able to survive each one of those and then adapt. Yeah, because once you've been in ketogenic diet, Okay, your mitochondria has to change to be able to utilize the fat better. You go back onto a carbohydrate diet and then drop back into a ketogenic diet, you then have that versatility, you have that metabolic flexibility to be able to do. The worst thing to do, of course, is eat rubbish food, regardless. Yeah, refined food, processed food, things like that is not good for you. You always need wholesome food, whether it's organic eggs, for instance, or organic meat, stuff like that, because it has the right things in it. Whereas nowadays, production of food is done factory farming. They use a lot of soy, which causes problems in itself. Estrogen, which I'm not going to talk about now, but you can find it in eggs and meat if the animal has been fed on it. Yeah, that's for another subject altogether, but we do need to talk about that, because you need to also understand that some of the lifestyle things that you do and the foods that you might have stored might actually be bad for you. Yeah, generally the ketogenic diet or a low carbohydrate diet, like myself, I was suffering from diabetes type 2. I was getting hypoglycemia, which means my blood sugars were dropping too quickly, and I was getting shakes and sweats, and I was overweight, very overweight, and I didn't quite understand it. Went to the doctors, they said, yes, you are diabetes type 2, your blood sugars are too high and then they're too low, blah blah blah. Went on their suggested diet, eating pastas and stuff like that. Didn't work. Yeah, so I studied accidentally, actually, I studied the ketogenic diet, why diabetes is the way it is, and it's all to do with insulin production and insulin resistance within the body. Once I'd understood that, and once I knew what to do about it, I went straight into the ketogenic diet, worked it all out, and my blood sugars were level. Yeah, I felt a lot better. Yeah, I come back off that and I start to get the same symptoms back again. So there's one thing there that's really important that we also need to understand, and Uncle Higgy will tell you about this in this dietary section, but I've chucked a lot of information at you and a few bits of terminology which I will explain later on. I'm not a dietitian, so you have to, of course, do your own research, but I'll give you a ballpark area where to look. Yeah, very, very important. You're a survivalist or a prepper. Once you understand the mechanisms of your body, yeah, then you can use it to your advantage. Knowledge is power, very much power, okay, which will give you the advantage over fat people who are desperate. At the end of the day, I'm sorry, I shouldn't say that, but it's true. People are overweight. Yeah. So last thing I'll say, cheers. I like to use old tins. The last bit of coconut milk I got in here, love this stuff. Yeah, lasts for years actually in storage, but yeah, I'll drink it out of the tin to get the last little bit out rather than washing it out in the sink. Yeah, see what I mean? Yeah, it's all these little tips. Yeah. Anyway, until the next one in this section, I shall be seeing you. Plenty more videos to come, so don't you worry. We'll get you right. Yeah.